Do you ever look at a French tip and think so simple, and then when you actually try to do them, it's not working? Most of the time people think it's about steady hand, but it's actually about your brush control and your technique. So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different techniques you can use to get the perfect French every time. So here we're starting with the base, obviously. Please take your time with your base. Make sure it is smooth, no bumps, no lumps, no little lint, and get that down perfect as much as possible. The next thing you need to be aware of is your brushes. I prefer a long, thin 20mm brush. Some people prefer a 12mm brush. It really comes down to personal preference, so see which one you prefer. So the first technique I'm going to show you is probably my favorite. So what I do is I map where I want the smile line to come down to, and then I curve the side of the nails. I make like a U shape, essentially. This is my favorite technique because it allows me to get a symmetrical line, even line across. I can finesse the shape. I can go back in and really concentrate on the smile line before I fill it in. I think what happens a lot of the time is that beginners try to paint the whole tip in one movement, but you don't need to. Just play around and finesse the circle. The arch. So here I am doing it again to show you. I am creating that arch. You can see I'm slightly finessing it, but I try and get the shape right, the shape to how I want it, and then I'll go back and grab that tip of that brush and just pull it through, and then I'll paint the whole tip, and then I'll go and finesse it a little bit extra that I might need to do. As you can see I'm doing here, I'm kind of just pulling that, making sure it's rounded, it's not square. Sometimes with the French tip, when it curves down, it could almost look quite square. And see how it's got a beautiful arch? That's what you want to focus on, not the rest of it. Focus on getting that arch rounded and perfect as much as you can. But practice makes perfect. Just keep trying no matter what. As you can see, here is them symmetrical between no matter which nail you do. You can see. The next technique is, I guess people call it an A shape, and it's probably the most widely demonstrated one online. So what you do is you start from the sides, so you start from the base of the nail and you pull up to the tip on one side, and you do the same on the other side, and then you put a line across making an A on where you want it to, your smile line to start. The way I try to make it as symmetrical as I can is when you pull from the base to the top, I try and connect it where the number is on the nail. So every nail has a number. That's where I make my focal point. After I've pulled the line across to make the A shape is when I start from the middle of that line and pull down to the side, and I create sort of like a arch, a U shape all the way down, and then I do that from the other side, and then that's when I'll go in again and make sure that there's no harsh square lines or jagged lines. I will finesse it a little bit. Then once I'm happy with that, I will fill it in completely. And then if I need to adjust anything, I might have gone over the line or whatever it might be, I'll use the tip of that brush very finely and pull it all the way through. As you can see, that arch is nice and rounded. You can bring that line, the horizontal line that creates the A shape, lower, higher, wherever you prefer. This is pretty much where I prefer all my French tips. I like it slightly higher than kind of my old school way, and I will always go to the previous nail and make sure that the arch is in, here we go, do you see that? The arch is in the same spot every time. There's nothing worse than looking at your French tip, one's higher than the other, one's lower than the other. It's not nice. I personally don't like it. So spend time making sure that your tips are all the same arch height, if that makes sense. The third and final one is that people will paint the top of the nail to the height that they want their arch, and then like I did in the first video, pull it down to the side, creating a U shape and getting that French tip. I don't like this one as much. I feel like you can get more of those harsh lines and a bit more square. But this is another way. If you're really struggling, that could be the first technique you learn until you learn the kind of flow of pulling down the side of the nail. Sorry, I'm out of frame here a little bit. But use the motion of placing your brush down and pulling down or pulling towards you to help you get that shape really, really nicely. As you can see, look, it's very nice and rounded. That's all. A French tip's all about symmetrical lines, make sure there's no harsh lines, and really focusing on that arch. You've got a perfect arch, your French tip will always look crisp, sexy, and on point no matter what you do. See, look at it. Oh, perfection. All my press-ons, I will add a builder gel and a top coat and a finish file, which I think gives you the most crisp edge on all your press-ons. So as you can see, when you see the set on my hand, you will see that all the arches are at the same height. It's symmetrical on both sides. But please don't be hard on yourself. French tips are very tricky. Look at it, perfection. French tips are very tricky to get the hang of it. It's all about practice. Let me know where you struggle with your French tips below, and if you want to learn more about techniques on nail art, please give me a follow and subscribe, and muchly appreciated. God bless.